Welcome to Beyond Synth. Please note, Beyond Synth is an explicit program and may contain inappropriate language. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Hey there, welcome to the show. This is Beyond Synth. My name is Andy Last. Welcome to the show. This is the podcast where we listen to cool music and talk to cool people who make the cool music. And on the show today is Hayley Stewart. Hayley Stewart provides vocals for many awesome synthwave artists, and she was also part of Dead Astronauts. And you've heard her voice on tracks by Gost and Arcade High and Perturbator and all sorts of awesome people. Anyway, so that was a fun one. She also lives in my city, so we did an in-person interview, which are always fun to do because I'm always doing this show on Skype. And after I edited the interview with Haley, it turned out we had talked for almost like 2 hours. So we're not going to do Keeping It 80s this week. I don't feel like doing a 3-hour show, and we'll do a Keeping It 80s next week. But for right now, we're going to listen to some music. So here's a track by Sunset Neon, and this is Got You.
Baby, and I'll never let you go.
And that was Got You by Sunset Neon. And that's a cool track. I think I played a Sunset Neon track a few weeks ago. It's good stuff. I dig it. Let's go to the mail sack.
Ye faithful listeners writing to the show, hoping that your note gets picked from us.
All right, this is just a quick mail sack today. This is a message from Bit Apart on Twitter. He says, if you could travel back in time and meet past Andy, what advice would you give him for the future? And then in brackets, not money related. What advice would I give past Andy? Well, if I could go back and talk to 12 and 13-year-old me, I would tell myself to cut my hair because I had long bangs and looked foolish. So that's number one. Let's see, number two would be maybe take better care of some of my old video game systems because I could sell them now for more money. Although, no, that's not even... I did take pretty good care of my video game systems. I will say that I stored some of them on shelves where some of the boxes ended up getting stuck. So that was a little annoying. But for the most part, I always keep the boxes. And I usually transport my systems in their boxes. So if I'm going to, visit family or something and I bring my PlayStation, like I still have the original box that it comes in and all the, the padding or whatever in there to transport it safely. So maybe that's not good advice. No, it can't be money related. Does that mean I can't go back in time and tell myself lottery numbers? Is that not considered advice? Let's see. I don't know what kind of advice I would give myself that is appropriate to say. Right? Because I could give myself advice about how to speak to women properly and not come across as being so goofy. That's possible because I'm a bit of a goof and I've always been a goof. I'm sort of aging into it gracefully now, but there was a point where I was just a goof. I'm a goofy guy. What can I say? But then, these questions always raise that weird hypothetical of, do you want to change your past so much that you do not become who you are, Does that make sense? And if the advice I gave past Andy is too good, then maybe he wouldn't grow up to host a synthwave show. The best synthwave chat show there is. Millions of downloads every week. So, whatever path I took to get here must have been the right one. And that, my friend, is a cop-out. All right, let's listen to another track. This is Michael Oakley with a track, Here Comes the Night.
They tried to break us into something we're not. Unlike those people who never faded into something that time forgot. So will you come calling? I wanna hear you tell me you set me apart. 'Cause you know I've been falling since the day that you exploded inside my heart. Girl, here comes the night where we become lovers. When our souls entwine, you'll finally discover that all the angels cry when they hear our song. Come to me now, we'll take this love higher. When we masquerade, we shine so much brighter than a million stars all shooting through the sky. Tell me, when will you realize that this grand facade is my big disguise? And I will always love you like no one else. Here comes the night where we become lovers. When our souls entwine, you'll finally discover that all the angels cry when they hear our song. Come to me now, we'll take this love higher. When we masquerade, we shine so much brighter than a million stars all shooting through the sky. Here comes the night where we become lovers. When our souls entwine, you'll finally discover that all the angels cry when they hear our song. Come to me now, we'll take this love higher. When we
And that was Here Comes the Night by Michael Oakley. Do you know what I mean? I want to remind you guys that Beyond Synth is brought to you by downtojam.com. If you're looking for a person to jam with, a person to be in your band, check out downtojam.com. It's a social networking site for musicians. So you go on there and you're like, hey man, I'm looking for a partner to jam with or to fill a spot in my band. I'll go to downtojam.com and then jam. That's downtojam.com. Also, don't forget to check out Piccolo Joe. Piccolo Joe, they make shirts for you with fun designs. And there's some funny images on there, and they are retro inspired from movies and 80s and 90s culture, and they are unique designs, so you're not going to see any of these anywhere else, and some of them are pretty funny. I think I'm torn between my two favorites. There's Bill Paxton's floating head holding a Game Boy that says Game Over on it, and then there's also one called Pinata Bishop, which is Lance Henriksen as Bishop ripped in half, but there's like candy coming out of just the look on his face. I don't know why that shirt makes me laugh so much, but I like those both. They're both really awesome shirts. And there's a whole bunch more there that's fun, and you should check it out at piccolojoe.com. And Beyond Synth is also sponsored today by Gregorio Franco, and we're going to listen to a Gregorio Franco track. Yes, he is a musician. He makes some dark wave stuff. I've chosen a particular track on his album to listen to, which you can check out at gregoriofranco.bandcamp.com. That's GREGORIOFRANCO. Gregorio Franco at bandcamp.com. He's got an album there called The Dark Beyond. He's got several albums, actually. There's War Machine and 20XX. I'm just looking at his Bandcamp page now. Chrome Thunder, Sadistic Intent. Oh, he's got a lot of music. Wow. Okay. Anyways, so he's sponsored this episode as well. So go check out gregoriofranco.bandcamp.com. This was a track that I dug from his new album, The Dark Beyond. This is a track called Time Rift. And that was Time Rift by Gregorio Franco. Go check out gregoriofranco.bandcamp.com for a good time. All right, guys, let's go to the Patreon.
Now you better listen up, 'cause I'ma tell you what the deal. Do that's who to show up on Patreon, that's for real. Subscribing, you belong up in the higher echelon. Now let's see who gave money on Patreon.
All right, you know the drill. Beyond Synth has a Patreon. If you want to support the show, that's really awesome that you do. And if you do, then I will thank you right now in the Patreon section. And every little bit helps. And we've got goals we're trying to reach, makes this show even bigger and better. And I can only do it with your help. I need to copy the things they used to say on public broadcasting stations, you know, where they would do the pledge drives. I need to watch some old pledge drives so I can steal their wording. But anyways, the point is this: thanks for everyone who donates to Beyond Synth. It means a lot to me. And here we go. Here's our $5 Pattersons. All right, we got Kai, Joe, and Lando. Speaking of which, I was on Joe's podcast, the Ozone Late Night podcast again, which you can check out at ozone.libsyn.com, or you can check out his Twitter at Ozone Nightmare, OZONENIGHTMARE. Anyways, I was on his show, and it was fun. I think we did 2 parts. I usually do his show like once every year and a half, and when we do, we end up talking for like 4 hours, and he has to break it up, and it's interesting. I mean, if you like hearing me talk, I talk about some stuff on that show I don't usually talk about on Beyond Synth, like politics and stuff, because I don't usually talk about that on this show. But it's probably not surprising to anyone that I am a proud member of the alt-right. So we're like the super racists. Yeah, I'm pretty proud about that. Just kidding. Anyways, okay, let's keep going here. So I want to keep thanking people, man. There's Roman. There's Bobby B. There's John Eternal, Dougie Fresh, Lame Robot, Mono Memory, Florence Bullock, Matthew Lister, Simon Norberg, Vay Lingo, Nougat Ninja, The Rosconian, Night Raptor, Stu M, Ross Pentland, Dana Jean Phoenix, Tristan Waits, Raul Pud, Grant Bouvier, Barons of Santa Carla, Seattle Synth, Starlight Fisher, Olivia Mutant John, Timothy Pierce, Corey Valentine, Orlando Rodriguez Neef, Marco Cranendunk, Martin Larby, Till Wild, Ethan Hennings. And now we're going to go to the donation of the beast.
This is the donation of the beast.
You know the drill, guys. The donation of the beast is all the listeners who donate $6.66, and we got a new one this week. We got Josh Conklin, and in brackets, Rings. Ah, because Rings, I get it. Go check out Rings music. Yeah, Rings is a music. Wow. Thank you, Josh Conklin, for your support of Beyond Synth. And most importantly, as a new member of the Donation of the Beast, Josh Conklin. In brackets, Rings. Rings. And then there's Hellroy, Lucas Ceballos, Blake Peterson, Carm, Unholy Rat King, Straylight, and another new Donation of the Beast from Lonnie Taylor. Welcome to the Dark Rings of Hell, Lonnie Taylor. What am I doing? Thanks, man. Thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate it. You're a cool guy, Lonnie Taylor. and also another member of the Donation of the Beast, Lonnie Taylor. Lonnie. All right, and then and then there's Max Hutchings, keeping evil at bay, 667. And then there's my lovely $10 Pattersons. There's Jake Last. Go check out his graphic design. He does graphic design. He's done some designs for me, and he's been doing designs for lots of people. Check out his site, man. Do it. There's Trevor Resnick, Colin Bennett, Fraser Davidson, Victor Garza, Ezra Van Dam, Winfield, Willow, Polly Digital, Joshua Everson, fucking Slunks tonight. Slunks. And then there's Greg Smith, Ashley Keegan, Tim Walmsley, Mike Shima, Shabugan, Face Hugger, Playmaker Media. Go check out Playmaker Media on Bandcamp. Do it up. And then there's a new $10 Patterson from... Okay. Mirat Ogut. Okay, buddy. I apologize. I really appreciate your support. You're going to have to tell me how to pronounce your name. M-U-R-A-T is the first name. So Murat. All right, so that's number one. Number two, the last name O-G-U-T, and every letter in that name has a symbol above it. So the O has like 3 dots above it. The G seems to have a straight line. The font is really small here, and the U has 2 dots. So what does that mean? Ogut, Murit, Ogut, Murit, Ogut, Ojut. I don't know. Thanks for your support, buddy. Let me know how to say your name. Send me an audio clip of you saying your name so that I can say it correctly, or else I'm just going to call you Murate Ogut, which you probably wouldn't appreciate. And then with the 1111, it's Chris Lane. Thanks, Chris Lane. And with the 2288, it's Jacob Wick. My awesome Patterson, Chris Dance, with the 25. And if you go to the Beyond Synth YouTube channel, I sent him one of my personalized thank you messages, which is what people get when they donate at the higher levels. I make a special video for them. And of course, Gregorio Franco with 25 as well, who also sponsored this week's show. So go check out Gregorio Franco's music. And of course, Retro Revolution with the donation of the $99.95. Of course, Retro Revolution has been sponsoring the entire Beyond Synth Summer Series, and you should check out Retro Faith Games on Twitter, or check out Retro Revolution on YouTube. So he does really cool stuff in regards to modding the actual physical electronics of old video game consoles and things like that. He's one of the first people to make a functioning consoleized version of a Sony PSP. And it's all done by soldering and running different wires to things, and it's all crazy stuff and grids of... Anyway, it's... It's hard for me to wrap my head around, but it's really cool, and he's adding new videos all the time on his YouTube page. So go check out Retro Revolutions if you haven't subscribed to Retro Revolutions, because it's cool that Jared is sponsoring the Beyond Synth Summer Series. And that is the Patreon for this week. So let's listen to another song, and then we will talk to Hayley Stewart. So here's a track by Dandroid. It's a track called Valkyrie from Time Slaves Recordings. It's so weird. They refer to themselves as Time Slaves, but it's actually Time Slave Recordings. Just pointing that out there. But go check out Time Slave Recordings at Bandcamp. There's a lot of cool music there. And there's this a great album. It's called Fear the Future Volume 1. This is Dandroid with the track Valkyrie. And that was Valkyrie by Dandroid. Do you think it's Dandroid or Dandroid? It's all one word. I don't know where the emphasis is. Do you think the emphasis is on Dandroid? Who cares? All right, this is... go check out the music, because I dug that track. And now, let us go to my conversation with Hayley Stewart. See if I can sort of look forward, but at the same time be conscious of...
You can do what you need to do. I'll be just as awkward either way.
All right, well, I am here. I'm doing hand gestures, and I don't know why. With Hayley Stewart. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm going to take a sip of water.
Do it up.
So I should tell the listeners that right now we're in a room that's about to be renovated. So we're in my place. And this isn't the regular place where I record, so I apologize because I think to your left there's like bricks that are fucking falling apart.
They look like they have some age and some flake to them.
There's some flake. It's got to be destroyed.
Brown liquid coming down from some holes.
That is some rust. Yeah, this room we're in right now, it leaks. And for the past year, I've been solving that problem by spray painting the ceiling white. And you can see that it's coming through. And anyway, my landlord's going to fix it. So anyways, I apologize that we're in what appears to be a dungeon of some kind.
It's better than my apartment with just, if you have cat allergies, you would instantly die.
How many cats do you got?
Just one, but you know.
Is it one of those sheddy cats?
Yeah, she's pretty sheddy, but she also likes to come right up to your face and just kind of attempt to choke you out every now and then. So.
Nice. I haven't had a cat in years. I'm a cat guy, but I haven't... my last cat was in high school. And once you have kids, I haven't had the need. I know it'd be maybe good to get a pet for the children to kind of play
Torture?
with. Yeah, but it's... I don't know, it's so much work now that I just don't want an extra thing to worry about. And I know cats, I mean, that's why I like cats, is because they are at least the least maintenance of the extra things you can have.
Yeah,
that's why I like them. Yeah, no, I like you don't got to do anything.
Yeah, and they will, they only come and see you when they feel like it, and vice versa. Yeah,
I think that's what I like, because I don't know, I don't like to generalize people or personality types, but I feel like dog owners, I mean, I totally understand why people like dogs, because they give back a lot more.
Oh, totally.
But I feel like it's on part in the owner as well, they also want more.
Yeah, I babysat my sister's dog when it was not even, it was probably about 6 months, maybe close to a year, somewhere in there. But oh my gosh, babysitting a Great Dane Pointer mixed puppy is not great when you don't have a lot of dog experience. So after that, I was yeah, maybe I can hold off on a dog for another 5 years.
Yeah, no, their work. I mean, I can't even, since it's not, I don't have the muscle memory, even the occasions where I have to walk a dog, which is very rare. It's once a year I'll walk somebody's dog. And I'm just not used to the strength. Big dogs, when they just yank on your arm, I'm whoa, you can do that? And when a dog is clumsy, because my last cat, Fufu, when I was in high school...
Good name.
She was insane. We turned out towards the end of her life that the vet finally explained what was wrong with her. She was hypersensitive. So if you pet her, she would be all friendly and everything was good, and then all of a sudden her pupils would just instantly dilate to full black, and then she would just start attacking you.
Oh yeah.
And we never understood what the fuck, your cat's schizophrenic. My friends, I would come to school with scratches on my arms that I'd have to jokingly just, because I would come to school with cuts on my arms basically, and I wasn't depressed. It was my cat literally slashed the shit out of my arms. But she was very, what's the opposite of clumsy? She was very precise with her movements.
Oh.
So even if she jumped on top of where I was typing on my keyboard on my computer, her feet would miss the keys. So she'd walk across my keyboard and her feet would never touch the keys. And I always thought that was so cool. And then I'd go to my friends' houses with dogs, and the dog was like fucking lumber in and like knock shit off of shelves and stuff. And it was like, it was such a shock to me. It was just like my cat was like so careful at not touching stuff, but then I had to deal with all the cuts.
Yeah, you know. Just the not self-harm, but
it looked like that's what I was up to. Well, anyways, enough about cats. Let's fucking talk about Hayley Stewart. You sing. You're part of sort of several things, and you also lend your voice to different people's projects.
Yeah, I sing, I produce. I guess that's basically it.
You got pink
Write
hair.
things. I do have pink hair right now.
So you're one of those
Who
people.
knows?
You're one of them hair changers, right? Because every time I see pictures of you, you got different hair.
Yeah, so I mean, my sister and I will meet up every few months, and then we'll just figure out a color that I want to do, and that will be that. But I don't know, it's like such hard work when once you get the bleach in there, you're like, man, I should just put something cool in there. So yeah,
I've got a natural bleach going right now.
it's great. It's so good. You need to update your pictures. I didn't know you had this like beautiful silver mane.
Oh, it's fucking great. I mean, because before that, I used to dye it, and I would dye it dark black to, you know, that very phony looking like vampire hair.
Yeah, vampire.
And I finally I just don't want to do the work anymore, because I would never get it professionally done, right? So I get paint all over my head for like a week.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You got the like just for men.
Yeah, well, I would always buy lady stuff because it's cheaper. Right?
I mean, it's the same stuff.
It's not even a question of being comfortable in my sexuality. It's like if I go to Walmart and they've got dye that's like $3 just because it has a picture of a woman on the box, I'm just like, fucking right. I mean, I'm not going to pay $11 just because there's a guy with a beard like I'm a man.
Yeah.
That being said, there's this face cream made by, Christ, they make my fucking cologne. Oh God, why do I always forget the name of this? It starts with an L. Nope. Anyways, they make this amazing face cream, all right? It's the most amazing face cream in the world. And it costs $100 for like a thing like that. And I remember when I first moved to Toronto and I went to the Eaton Center and they had a little sample in my cologne. Like I got the cologne and it's like, and it had a little sample of this face cream and I used it and it was like, it's just the best when you use it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotta figure out the fucking company name now. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Is it like Lacoste? Is it something like high end that is not typically?
The cologne I wear is called Colors. So what's the company? Oh, I gotta spell it the American way.
Dang it.
Oh, this is gonna drive me absolutely nuts. Now they're saying Colors of Benetton.
Oh yeah, the United Color. Yeah.
That's not what I want.
Do you have it here?
Yeah, but then I gotta go. I gotta leave the room.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fucking
Yves Saint Laurent?
no. Okay, I'm doing it. Fuck this. You know when you got a thing and like you gotta know.
Yep.
I gotta know.
I see this. See, that was when the internet fails you.
Estee Lauder.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, you are fancy then.
Now look, here's the thing. They had a little sample in my cologne, all right? I went to the Eaton Center and I was like, oh, I'm going to get the whole jar. This is like the most amazing stuff. This is like 2001. And then the lady goes, yeah, I'm like, how much is that? She's like, it's $100, $99. And I had so much pride. And I was broke, by the way. I had no money, and I couldn't walk away for some reason. Like, I felt like that would show that I was like some loser. So I bought it, and then I literally used it for like 10 years, like little bits here and there. Mm-hmm. And then my wife just bought this as a gift, sort of like as a joke. But now we're both using it because when she started, like, she tried it, and it's like, it smooths your skin, and it just makes your skin look really like soft. But it's $100, $100 Can you believe that?
It's so insane. Like, I have to retouch stuff like that for a living. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be like working on these like beautiful like glassy images of them, and then I get in the sample and it's so much tinier than you think, and it's still like $600. I can't. No. I spend maybe that much in makeup in like 5 years.
Well, I want Beyond Synth to become popular enough that I can get a sponsorship. That would be the one that I would actually want above like musical equipment or anything. Hey, let's listen to a track and then we'll keep talking, because we can talk about you're just talking about retouching images and stuff. Like that's what you do, so we can like talk about that. We can talk about all sorts of things. This was a cool track that you did with Perturbator.
Oh yes.
I'm sort of playing tracks out of order.
That's allowed.
This is going to be all over the place. But this is a cool one I dug. This is Sentient by Perturbator featuring Hayley Stewart. And that was Perturbator with Sentient featuring Hayley Stewart. And I'm here with Hayley Stewart right now.
Hello.
You having a good day?
I am having a good day. Yes.
I try. This is fun, but it's like I try and do this when I can. I'm trying to be a little bit more active in the sort of local Toronto scene because obviously, when I can, anyways, do in-person interviews because it's a lot better and they're a lot easier to edit too. Because when you're on Skype, you know, there's all those delays and stuff, and so
and it gets awkward, and you guys start like talking over each other, which I mean I'm doing anyway, but it's just less of an awkward pause.
There's something better about real life talking over other people because in the Skype world, the problem is you're talking over each other because there's a 1 second delay. So it's like it's not natural, whereas there's something a bit more natural when it's people in the same room. But the point is that, so your day job right now, you're doing like photo retouching.
Yep.
Now, is that boring or do you like it?
It totally depends. So, I mean, sometimes it's really fun because it's almost like little puzzles that people set you up with, and you know, you work with some photographers that are just great at making sure you have all those pieces that you need. But no, it's good. I mean, where I am right now, I get to work on cool still life things, and then some beauty things, some fashion, so it's all stuff I'm kind of interested in anyways.
But you take pictures as well, right? Because I've seen...
Yeah, last weekend I was at the Sailor Moon celebration. That was at the Science Center, and I did some photos.
What's the deal with some of that stuff? Because I saw some, I was looking at some pictures there, some NSFU photos.
Oh, yeah, W.
What did I say?
NSFU.
Wait, what is NSFU? That's a band, isn't it?
I don't know.
Not safe for work. NSFW.
Yeah, you need double.
Oh, I just fucked up. Anyway, there's a picture of a girl's bum.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've been wanting to do a bunch of these. My latest sort of undertaking is these little video portraits of people, and a lot of what my photography work is identity and clothing and sort of like what you put on the outside and how that relates to your interior being. So I basically just try to find people who have very unique personal styles and then go and shoot them. So with her, I went over to her apartment and I did my little video portrait, and she was like, hey, do you want to do some more photos? I have like all these ideas. And I was like, yeah, cool. But she's basically like super cool and doesn't give a fuck. And she had that daddy issues tattoo, and I really want to take a picture of it, so that's why there's a little bit of butt in there.
So how much of this stuff are you is to do with like your interests? Because there's a whole community of stuff every day on the internet. You're finding out new communities. So I did not know about this Lolita thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean Lolita fashion.
Yeah, I mean there's two very separate connotations to the word.
Which is like sort of like girls who dress up like Dolly kind of thing. I mean, how do you even explain it?
Yeah, so it's basically a fashion style that came out of Japan in the 90s. Yeah, it was sort of like this punk for girls kind of thing where they were kind of stabbing back at the expectations of them to just do a transition from a child to wife. So you had a lot of like girls who were like 18 to mid 20s that were wearing like these totally frilly, feminine, Victorian sort of like porcelain doll inspired dresses, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with the Lolita fashion community because I knew about it back in the day, but I never had the money or the skills to actually make any of the clothes. But the more I hung out with them, I was like, yeah, I don't care. I want to wear this too. So I like built up a couple outfits, and it's just cool. It's just another community, like the synthwave community. Then there's the Lolita community. And like, it's always interesting to have an excuse to go and delve into something new that you think you wouldn't traditionally go look at. So photography is a really good tool for that.
Is there like a male equivalent? Or like dudes who like dress up like Oliver Twist or something?
Yeah,
like,
okay. So it's either OGRE, which is Prince. There's a couple like spin-offs, but it's basically like an elegant aristocratic look. Yeah, there's a couple guys that do great things, and I really want to photograph them because they're rare. And you also get a lot of female or non-binary people who dress up in the boy style, is literally what some of it translates to. And it's so cool. It looks so good.
But the word is like, it's not like Little Lord Fauntleroy's or whatever. I'm just trying to think of like...
No, it's a lot of it is OG, which means Prince.
So then what was the deal with the Sailor Moon thing?
I was just there on assignment with a lovely writer from Vice, and so actually I was half there hosting, so I got to interview Bear Sailor Moon, who is like as you'd imagine, this like very hairy gay guy who dresses up as Sailor Moon, and he was wonderful.
I like how at first I didn't understand what you meant, and I'm like, no, it's literal.
Yep, no. Yeah, so he was very cool. And then, we were just asking some Sailor Moon fans some questions about the world today, and got to do a couple picks. It was fun. It was good.
Were you a fan of Sailor Moon?
Oh my God, like crazy. Yeah, she was definitely a role model growing up. And I have been rewatching old episodes because I've been kind of afraid to watch it since I stopped in my childhood.
See, I will say, actually, we'll listen to a song and then we'll fucking continue this because I'm about to make a revelation to the listeners of Beyond Synth they probably don't know about me. This was a fun song. It was by Arcade High off their last album. It's called Phone Lines, and that's a good one. And it's featuring you. And you are Hayley Stewart. So let's listen to that now. This is Arcade High, Phone Lines, featuring Hayley Stewart.
I'm dreaming of phone lines, but we're on hold. You couldn't connect to your instincts tonight. I'm dreaming of phone lines, but we're on hold. You couldn't connect to your instincts tonight.
And that was Arcade High with Phone Lines featuring Hayley Stewart. And I'm here with Hayley Stewart right now.
Hello.
I apologize. My radio voice might be weird when I
was wondering how you were able to repeat the song name so perfectly the second time. And I know your secret now.
Yep. Yeah, it's a trick. But anyway, I watched Sailor Moon when it was on Global. And it was interesting because that was like one of the first kids shows. I think what was interesting to me about it, because at first I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I wasn't so used to anime.
Naturally, yeah.
And it's like one of the only kid shows that had a continuing narrative. And so once I actually like figured out the order that they were playing the shows, I actually did watch a lot of them. And I understand now, I haven't watched it in years.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking about like, should I pick this up, because I did enjoy it, and I guess the DVD probably, I know that's one of those things where like the North American version is like they change things from the Japanese, and I don't know if they re-recorded audio to change some of the I think they swapped sexes of some characters and things.
They definitely de-gayed it a little bit. They tried to make it, they were worried about the sales in a North American market for some of that. So yeah, there's like two villains that are a couple with two guys, and they just change the gender of one of them because they're like, oh, that's the feminine one.
Yeah. Well, it's so easy to do with anime because everyone looks like girls anyways, like even the dudes. I loved it because every like few weeks when they like killed one of the bad guys, because I only watched up to a certain point. I feel like Global didn't have the entire series.
Oh no.
They had they had up until they started hinting at some story that she was this princess from some other place, and that little girl that was hanging out with them was actually like her daughter with Tuxedo Mask or something.
Oh yeah.
So like I got up to that part, and then I felt like once they got there in Global, they sort of started playing the first ones again. It got to the point where, who was the first villain? There was a lady.
Oh, that's Queen Beryl.
Okay, so she was the first villain. Then there was like a second phase after she was the villain. She had all those people who were like dressed in gray shirts.
Yeah.
Like, and
with like
had,
weird green eyes.
Yeah, there's like, I don't remember their names, but I feel like they were all like Malachite and
yeah, there's like Malachite,
and
Jadeite, Zoisite, I think.
Yeah, Zoisite, that's a weird one. Yeah, that springs to mind. And then after they defeated them, then they defeated her. Then they started another storyline after she was defeated, and I feel like maybe, was there like another sailor or something? There was a little girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's a couple that I have very bad memory about, but there is definitely a storyline where her, like, chibi moon, it grows up, but she turns to the dark side. So she's kind of like, her daughter becomes this evil character, and there's all these other like evil sailor with inverted moons. And
okay, see, I didn't get to any of that. I feel like once they defeated Queen Beryl, or was there another villain after her?
I don't know, man. I've just started rewatching, and my memory is shot.
If I watch the DVDs now, I'd be curious to know like how much of Sailor Moon I actually saw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And what did I just see season 1? Like, is that just it's like 40 episodes of just. Because kids' cartoons are always crazy too, right? Like Transformers season 2 is 60 episodes, and that's called season 2.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And so, so I don't know if that's is Queen Beryl just like season 1, and then season 2 they bring in like another villain. I feel like I saw another villain after that queen. And then there was these stories where they went into space or something, and they were like on moons. Then that's really when they started to get heavy into alluding that Sailor Moon was. This is going to annoy anybody who actually likes Sailor Moon.
I know, they're going to listen to us and they're like, oh, god damn it. These guys trying to talk about the thing they haven't watched in like 20 years.
But I liked how it followed a storyline, and I liked that they killed characters.
Yeah.
Because no other show killed characters off, and so that's what was compelling about it, I suppose, because every few weeks they'd kill a character off, and they actually killed them off, and, like, I didn't watch any other kids' cartoons that were killing characters. I don't think any of them killed characters.
Yeah, if you want to go for the whole uncensored version, I'm pretty sure Tubi TV is streaming them for free, and you can watch them with like the original Japanese episodes with subs, so you have to like reading. Yeah, it's pretty good. There's some zany episodes in there that I never saw, and I went and checked it out, and they were like, yeah, they never aired this in North America. I'm like, yeah, they did not.
I love that too, because I think they did the same thing with Power Rangers when you start reading about the differences. And
Yeah.
And I was never huge into Power Rangers, but it was interesting, like just when they show, in the Japanese version, like they fight Satan and stuff, and it's just like just these bizarre things. Are like,
Yes.
And then in the American one, they would just change the name, so it's still like the same thing. We're just like, today we're fighting like Globo or whatever, and meanwhile, like the Japanese one is like much stranger.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sailor Moon was the same way. But as a kid, the only trivia that we knew about the Japanese one was in Japanese one, you see the outline of Sailor Moon's boobs. And
you got the panty shots.
Yeah, and that's the thing that they like cut out of the. It's just ridiculous to me, like thinking that was somebody's job. That's my favorite thing, is thinking about the job of the censor, of translating stuff for another audience, and also the people back when they would censor movies on like TBS and stuff. Like, I love if I could go back in time and do a job, it would be the guy that censors movies for television, because they came up with the funniest fucking replacements for things.
Oh yeah.
Die Hard is amazing censored. Total Recall was amazing. Commando. These are the movies I watched. Like we had them on a VHS, and the censored ones were amazing. Like just so funny, and that job must have been hilarious.
Well, they would like dub out almost like entire sentences sometimes. Like, what does this have to do with anything?
Die Hard's the best because there's a dude who's like doing the worst John McClane impression. And my favorite of all time, I mean, it's been popularized now, but at the end of the movie when he says yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and they changed it to yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
What?
It's so good. I'll show it to you afterwards. It's the best.
Oh.
And the guy who does the John McClane voice, he's like, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. Like, it's so bad. It's one of the funniest fucking things. But what I loved is when they would censor the movies, they would try and seed their change. So they would throw little hints early on. So in another scene, they dub in him saying Falcon earlier to establish that, I guess that's what he calls
Falcon
planes.
Was coming.
Yeah, so there's a scene where he's like, come to Papa, Falcon, as he's like climbing a ladder, and it's just, I think they're laying the groundwork, so later on when he blows up a plane and says yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, it's got some context. I mean, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And fucking funny as hell.
That's some real art involved there.
Art, yes. Well, let's listen to another track. This is a Dead Astronauts track. Maybe we can talk about Dead Astronauts.
Ooh.
This is a fun track. This is one I liked. I say the same three things about the songs I play.
Good.
I say I like them. I say that's a cool track or that's a fun track. And then I have to remember, like, wait, is that more of a fun track or a cool track? Anyway, this is a track called Unhappy Woman by Dead Astronauts.
Fire spreading everywhere.
that was Dead Astronauts with the track Unhappy Woman. And I'm here with a woman right now, Hayley Stewart. That's my awesome segue.
Hello, yeah. Oh, you didn't want to say that I was an unhappy woman right now?
I hope you're not an unhappy woman.
No.
That would be a really awkward situation. Well, talk to me about Dead Astronauts then, man.
All right. Well, it was good. It was fun. There hasn't been a whole lot of talk or like explanation around it, but basically after our last album, I decided that I wanted to take some more time and just focus on my own stuff. So, Jared was super gracious and sweet about it, and So
is he going ahead and doing it just as himself, or is he going to do something else? Is Dead Astronauts definitely like you too?
I guess it depends on who you ask. So I don't think, like, Dead Astronauts was always Jared's little baby. Like, he already had the branding all sorted out and had like another producer on board even when I joined. So it's definitely his love child, and I don't think that it will ever really be able to be separate. Just because I'm gone. So at this point, I know that it's going to be him and our good friend Slade, who is just like the best. He does all of our mastering for us. So if you ever need any tracks mastered, go hit up Slade at Influx Studios. He's really good.
Hit up Slade.
Slater Gator. Yeah, so he's going to be working with him doing production, because Slade is also a really talented artist who does who's behind Crying Vessel, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, I think that they're getting, oh my god, I'm blanking on her name, but there is going to be a female vocal component, so the parts will be there. It will just be basically the only thing that will be different is that I will no longer be on production. Oh yeah, and vocals. So I guess it might be different.
How did you connect with Jared in the first place? You're here, man. You're in Canada.
Yeah. So basically, we just had a mutual acquaintance via SoundCloud. I was doing a lot of vocals for him, and he was following Jared because he really liked his art. And so when he found out that Jared was in a band, I guess my name came up because he was looking for female vocals on a song. So we got in touch through the internet, and then basically the day after I did vocals, he invited me to join the band, and I was like, hell yeah, this will be sweet. And yeah, that was like probably in my last year of high school or starting college. Yeah, it's been a long time, actually.
Oh, man, it's been a long time since I was in high school. I'll tell you that. This gray hair isn't here just because I have a lot of stress. Although it is here because I have a lot of stress.
Well, your skin looks amazing thanks to that cream.
Estee Lauder Idealist Cream. Pore minimizing skin refinisher.
Yeah.
Serum Peau Neuve. My French is shitty.
Yeah, I see that. It's okay.
I should speak French considering my mom is French, but whatever.
Oh yeah, you're one of those.
Yeah. Traitors to the France. To the France.
Well, that's
the thing, because my dad's British, and I always just had more connection to British culture, so that's where I stand on that. Because like my mom, like she's always very protective of French stuff, and and it just doesn't work for me. The cheesy music. I mean, I listened to all this stuff when I was a kid, and this like cheesy French music and stuff, and I just couldn't do it.
You weren't into any of the like French Canadian rappers that exist?
Well, I don't think even my mom's into that. Is anyone?
I was in high school, but that's because I don't know.
Are you a weird person?
I guess so. I guess. Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
I guess that's one of the benefits of the internet then, being able to have these collaborations.
Yeah.
You had short black hair for the Dead Astronauts.
Oh yeah, okay. So our very first band picture was just photoshopped because Jared had a photo shoot first, and then I got my friend to mimic the lighting and then comp us in together. So that was fun. And then our second band photo where I have short blonde hair was when we first met in person for the first time. So we actually took advantage of the fact and did a shoot together, which was nice.
And how was that? Was that awkward or interesting?
Like our meeting or the shoot?
Well, everything.
Well, I mean, it is always weird once you meet somebody that you've only ever spoken to online, because it's all of a sudden you get a lot more feedback from them just in their body language and stuff. But it was really fun. Like, I think we did a lot of exciting, cool things. Got to check out Portland a whole bunch.
The biggest thing, it's height.
Yeah.
Height is and you know what? For some reason, I thought you were shorter.
No, I'm a little bit taller than...
I don't know what it is then. I don't know what it is about the photos you have of yourself online, unless you're always standing next to taller people than you. But I always got the impression that, and then when we just met just now, I'm just like, oh, why she's... mind you, I'm short. Like, I'm a normal height guy. So maybe that's the thing.
nice correction there. I'm short normal. Normal.
No, I'm literally, like, I typed it in. Average height for a North American man is 5'10".
Yeah, well, that's around what I am.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. So but it's interesting, right? Because whenever you meet people for the first time, it's always height, and I'm surprised that because I have so many of these. I don't know why I'm pointing at my computer. Like relationships with all these people and friendships now in the scene, and some people are a lot taller than I thought they were, and some people are shorter than I thought they were, and this is a really uninteresting thing I'm saying.
No. I mean, when I was at the synth meetup that Marco and like the synthetics group hosted, that was really interesting because there's a lot of people who I didn't even know what their faces look like, and then all of a sudden I got to hang out with them.
Well, synthwave people like to, especially dudes, like to hide their faces.
Yeah, masked men of the scene. I'm like, do I need one?
I can never tell if it's an anonymity thing or it's just about
stage presence.
Yeah, like a stage thing, if you're just a dude. But I find, I guess it works both ways. I mean, I think, like Perturbator's got a huge following and he's happy showing his face.
Yeah.
But then Gost, people like Gost and he's got a skull mask.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I saw that Perturbator. I was going to say James and I was like, wait, they're both named James. This is not going to help. Had like pyrotechnics at his show. So, I mean, that helps.
Yes.
Bring some presents.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. He's doing it right. I mean, he's channeling some of the cash into like light show stuff, and that's cool, man. It helps. I mean, Carpenter Brute show was cool too. Like they put a lot of effort into the production of it, which is awesome. But I mean, they can do it because it's like a popular act. So
yeah,
not everyone can afford to get some of those lighting setups.
I know. I've never performed live before, and I have no idea what I would do.
I'd be real nervous.
Yeah.
That would be my thing. 'Cause I know people say that too. They're just like, oh, it'd be fun to do like live, do the podcast live or in front of people. I'm like, oh no, they'll fucking flail out. It'll be, because I will have to be drinking. And and I know I will say the dumbest shit. And I mean, which is fine because I can edit it, but then I don't know if there's going to be someone in the crowd, like, where they just catch me in a weird moment and then everyone finds out how racist I am.
Oh no. Oh God. What sort of truth serum are we going to be serving you? I mean, at a certain point, you just have to be able to let go and be like, whatever. But maybe that's where all your lack of self-promotion will come in handy, because then not too many people will see.
That's true. That's right. Like, I'm terrible at selling the shows, so I imagine if one person shows up and then only one person will find out how racist
you'll be okay.
I am. Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Yeah. This is going to be a good time.
We'll just dub it out with Falcon.
Yeah.
People
What's up with all those falcons?
What's he got against those birds?
Fucking falcons. Let's listen to another track. We'll close out the Dead Astronauts chapter here with a track by TIMECOP 1983, featuring Dead Astronauts. This is a track called Far Away, which is a cool track. Cool. And and let's listen to it.
Heading west.
And that was TIMECOP 1983, featuring Dead Astronauts, with the track Far Away. And I'm here with Hayley Stewart right now.
I'm just wondering, have you ever been an announcer for a strip club?
No.
Or a MC?
I don't like strip clubs, man. I'm not saying that to sound like I'm some cool guy, because I'm fine with naked women, but I just find those places so bizarre.
It is so bizarre. It's but you have the voice for it, so that's why I ask.
Yeah, that'd be a weird job. I don't know, man. I've only been a few times. Obviously, like when a guy comes of age, or legal 18. I mean, I'm not talking about puberty. When you can go to one, and that's always like an exciting time. It's like, oh, we're gonna go to the strip club. When I first moved to Toronto, I lived at Lansdowne and Bloor.
Oh, that's where I was. That's where I went to my first strip club.
Oh, the House of Lancaster too.
I went to Paradise. Club Paradise.
Yeah, Paradise is a few blocks down.
Apparently, it's better, but I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, to be honest with you, because there's some people. It depends if you're friends with freaks who like the freakier side of life, and they like when it's more of a dive, and then there's other people that like a more classy establishment. At the end of the day, it's just weird. Yeah. I've always just found it to be very strange, and I don't know how I'm supposed to behave, and I'm not one of those, like, I don't know if this is like an alpha dude thing, but who's like comfortable with that whole arrangement. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not comfortable with it, and it's not me like going like, I'm a feminist and I don't believe in this or whatever. No, it's like I just find it really weird.
It's weird because it's all a spectacle and an experience, and you kind of have these ideas of what role you're supposed to play there, and it really involves a certain lack of... You have to really like surrender yourself to it and like play the part, I think, to be there.
I think I'm too self-aware to ever not be exactly me, and it gets me into trouble at times because there's some people, maybe I always talk like this, so there are times when that's inappropriate if I'm supposed to be more professional, like job situations or like interviews and stuff. Like I don't have professional Andy. I don't have like heavy handshake fucking, oh, nice to meet you, Brian, right? Okay, good. Like I can't do that. I can pretend.
Yeah, you can pretend great. Just pretend all the time.
But then in actual situations, like I will be that guy that says too much and is too silly or too not serious enough, and it's hard for me to... I'm bad with people who take themselves seriously. Well, that's my biggest problem. It's like if I'm around a serious person, which is weird because I can have serious conversations, but I like having serious conversations with people who aren't necessarily pretentious or take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, people who understand that they are a piece of shit in some way. Like, we all suck. Yeah. To some degree. So
that's the thing. So I think when I'm in that situation, I'm still trying to be as lighthearted as I can. And there's like a heaviness to it, I suppose. But yeah, I could probably announce it, I guess. Like, what do the announcers say? Here comes a naked lady.
Here comes somebody's daughter. Yeah.
How does that make you feel, you piece of shit? What the fuck are you doing here?
Why haven't you paid her? You saw her vagina tonight. Come on. You think she does this for fun?
Yeah, no, it's a weird thing. But yes, I'm aware of that place. And that was a few blocks down from the House of Lancaster too, which was the strip club that was literally like 3 houses away from where I first lived in Toronto. Anyway, it's not a nice neighborhood is my point. Why was I saying that?
Because I asked you about...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I brought it up. That's all. Don't worry. Don't feel guilty.
So what do you do in your spare time, man? What do you do for fun?
Basically work on music and take on numerous sewing projects.
Sewing?
Yeah. I took sewing lessons instead of going to summer camp when I was a kid because I was a little bit fat and I didn't like going outside.
Is there funny like fat pictures of you?
You know what? So you know that I'm kind of tall. So when I was a kid, I was more like a big rectangle, like a big meaty, awkward rectangle with like bad hair.
You're painting the picture of Super Meat Boy right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit more stretched out. Okay. But yeah, I did not become a girl for a while.
I'm still becoming one. This has been like
you're working on it with your beautiful fresh skin. Okay.
Exactly. This is like a 35-year transition. One of these days, I'm going to be a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm 50 or something.
Yes. But yeah, I was really into like weird Japanese street fashion back in the day. I mean, I still am, but especially back then. So I would come to my sewing teacher with like crazy dumb projects, and she'd have to like modify them so much to fit my like dumb 12-year-old body. And then I would try to make it out of like dumb like blue PVC with like heart lace, and it was just weird. I still have all my experimental clothing pieces. But yeah, so I've just been trying to buy clothing less because I just get so mad at how simple all these things I like are and how easy they are to make. So I'm like, fuck it, I should just make it.
Yeah.
Normal people who just overbuy like clothes, I just overbuy fabric. And so much to my boyfriend's discontent, our living room is like my office and sewing room. So if I'm ever working on anything, it's like it gets exploded with like fabric and trim and pattern pieces, and it's gross. And
This is why we didn't record the interview at your apartment.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. It's bad to have too many hobbies because then your apartment gets too full.
I know, well, that's exactly what happens with me, because I mean, I had to make a decision. It was so hard because, you know, when people talk about, you know, focusing, like you gotta focus, and I'm building robot costumes, I'm building the set for Beyond Synth, I'm, you know, like editing the actual podcast, which is not the video version of the podcast, and then learning all the way, like trying to figure out how to build these things and make them functional and stuff. And then I had to, it sucks because literally for like 3 years on this show, I'm always talking about randomly with people like, oh, and I'm building these robot costumes, and now after all these years, I just realized like I gotta put that project on hold, and it sucks because I want to do it so bad, but I can't do it all. Like I can't do the podcast and do that and do the other things I like to do, and also like, you know, play games and relax. And
I know, it's hard, like when you just want to have a night of boggle.
Yeah.
But you got that podcast. But these costumes look really cool. Are you planning to take them to, like, I don't know if you go to conventions or if you partake in any of the masquerades or...
No, it's primarily for the show I was working on. And again, it was another thing where I would rip it apart and rebuild it. And I was coming up with some pretty clever ways of making the costumes. Like I was watching some YouTube tutorials about how people put costumes together, but also just in the same way that I'm building the Beyond Synth set, it's like I want it to be easy to put on and off. And so eventually I built this mannequin, and then just for the listener, the robot is in the room, and I built it over a sweater. So I've actually put like plates on an actual shirt.
Oh.
So that it can be worn as a shirt. Like there's a zipper on the back and you put it on. So like all the shoulder pieces and all the stuff, it's actually just stuck to a shirt. And the mask, that version of the mask, is built over a ski mask. So you can actually like put it on as a mask instead of, and it sort of warps to the contour of your head.
Nice.
As long as you don't have like a, you know, elephant man head.
Yes.
But anyway, it was an interesting way to fucking trying to figure it out. But now I got to put all this shit on hold.
Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, sometimes you gotta do it.
Yeah, man, and we gotta listen to another track. We talked about Gost before, so let's listen to a track you did with Gost, man. This is Without a Trace, featuring Hayley Stewart. And that was Gost with the track Without a Trace, featuring Hayley Stewart, and I'm here with Hayley Stewart right now.
I'm here.
In studio.
Woo.
Yeah. So, listen, Boggle was the first thing that came to your mind.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Every now and then it will be like a Friday or Saturday, like prime doing things kind of night. And instead of going out, my boyfriend and I will play Boggle or Yahtzee or Scrabble.
Boo! What are these games? They're all good games. I don't know. I booed at the idea of playing board games. I apologize.
I know. No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm secretly a 90-year-old woman because I play Boggle.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, it's just a lot of video games over here. We don't have time to bring out the board games.
See, I've been like getting back into some Burnout 3, like Takedown, like released in 2004 edition for the nostalgia. Oh my god, that game is so good.
I don't think I've never played Burnout. Wait, was Burnout, is that Electronic Arts? Is that the one that has all the sparks and shit?
Yeah, it's the one where you get points for crashing your car and causing the most damage.
Ah, yeah. You know, I remember there was a franchise that it wasn't a franchise, but it was made by the same company, and it was a first-person shooting game, but it had the same ethos as Burnout. It was it was called Black, I think. And it was cool because it was all like about sparks and pyrotechnics and stuff, and so like everything you'd shoot, there'd always be like cool sparks and things like that. And I liked that, but then that franchise never went anywhere. So I guess it's not a franchise if they only make one.
I guess it's yeah.
The way things work now, it's like you always just assume something's going to be a franchise.
Yeah.
And so I just always go in with that assumption that like any game that comes out, it's just like, can't wait for part 2. And
yeah. I mean, basically the only video games that I have in rotation right now are like Burnout games, Katamari, and like Skyrim is basically it. I've like strategically tried not to buy certain games that I really want because I know that they will eat up my life instead of doing something quote unquote productive with my spare time.
Well, that theory falls apart if one of those games is Skyrim.
I know, but it's like you just replay it over and over again, like trying different builds. And
Skyrim is in my top 10. I thought about that. I mean, I rebought it on the PlayStation 4, and I mean, I own it on PlayStation 3, and god damn it, if I might even get it for the fucking Switch.
What? Why do you need it on the Switch?
Because you can take it on the go, man.
Oh my god, just always be in. I really like the area just outside Riften is beautiful with like all the fall foliage and there's little hot springs.
Oh shit, what is that even called?
Oh, I know the district is the Rift, but I don't know.
Welcome to Riften. My favorite thing about Skyrim is Jarl. The word Jarl. Mm-hmm. Just because everyone's always just like, I am the Jarl of Whiterun. I love Jarl. I don't know why that word makes me laugh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jarls in that game.
Yeah, I'm just realizing now how often I'll just quote that game and like, oh, who's that shitty guy in the Thieves Guild who's like tries to be tough? He's just like, you want to talk to me? Okay. Like, I say that all the time to my friends and I'm like, why? I hope they know what this is from. I'm
trying to think what my favorite quote from... I was playing it the other day and I was laughing at... Because to me, I always pick up on like side quote things. Because obviously everyone's always going to say I took an arrow to the knee, but that's like not my favorite quote. I think in Oblivion, the one before Skyrim, there's a dude who's like calls you fancy pants. And you talk to him, he's like, hey, fancy pants, and just because the line read is so terrible.
I ain't got nothing to say to you, fancy pants, so why don't you mind your own business, eh?
Oh, fuck, what the hell is it in Skyrim? Because there are some good ones. But mostly it's just those lines that they repeat so often, like just, you looking to buy something, or what? No, or deal some damage when you buy weapons.
Yeah.
What is it? Are you looking to protect yourself? Yeah, or deal some damage.
And yeah, it's like 60 different people saying.
Yeah, and when I play Skyrim, I basically play as like a traveling salesman. So I'm constantly raiding things and then just selling them, making money.
Yeah.
And that's how I play that game. And it's amazing to me that, you know, there's this epic fantasy story going on, and my story is always like, I will build up and get Daedric armor and craft myself like wicked dual swords, and with the aim of that, like, now I can hold more stuff to sell, and like that's
Yeah, basically now I can hold on to more wheels of cheese that I want to put in my house.
Well, I love the logic that sort of breaks when you have a game that's so open world. You know, you get the situation where you'll talk to somebody in a village or something, and they give you a mission. You're like, you know, our town has been cursed, and there's an old witch that lives in, you know, Scragglemore Cave, and you're like, okay, I'll defeat her for you. And then like Scragglemore Cave is 10 feet from town or something, you know, like you walk like this little bit to this cave and like, really, like this lady's got a curse on your town for like 100 years and she lives right here, and like none of you have tried to do anything. Or when you get in a situation where people don't acknowledge how great your character is. Like I go to the Companions Guild with fucking full on like fully crafted like Daedric armor that's amazing. And the dude's like, yeah, and you can hook up with you know, like I forget the guy's name, but he'll give you some armor to replace whatever it is you're wearing, and like,
oh yeah, Yorlin Greymane, who just has like iron fucking breastplates, or like, oh.
But I love that the dude has such an attitude too. It's like, whatever you're wearing, I'm like, you mean fucking like 110 armor that's like 400 times better than this bullshit this dude's gonna make for me? Like,
yeah,
fuck you.
It's like, I'm sorry, you've never seen Prada before.
Well, that's definitely what I'm wearing. The Prada of armor and my fucking dual blades. Like some guy's gonna give me some shitty axe and like, fuck you. This blade takes your soul and this blade sets you on fire. Like that's anyway.
Like I have enchanted shivs that do more damage than that.
I love the idea of an enchanted shiv.
You haven't done it?
No.
Oh, it's great. I always call it like the urethra jammer or something very graphic.
I have a...
Oh no. I think I just triggered. I totally just triggered Andy right now.
Sorry. I have very few things that really affect me. One of them is teeth. Like my son is young, and so every time he gets like a loose tooth, and kids are just playing with their loose tooth, and his little buddy was over, and it had a tooth that was loose that was only holding on by one of the roots.
Oh no!
And he's just sitting there like, look at this, and he's doing the thing, and I was just like, no, I can't look. And like I close my eyes and like cover my ears for some reason. And my other thing is any sort of penis violence is like not a thing I deal with too well.
It's not good.
Maybe it's a guy. I mean, it's a guy thing.
Well, I mean, I don't deal with it very well either, which is why I have to joke about it.
Urethra jammer. Let's listen to another track. This was actually on Betamaxx's album. He's in pre-release mode, so some of his tracks aren't named as of today. But this is a cool track. This is Something Else by Betamaxx, featuring Hayley Stewart. And that was Something Else by Betamaxx, featuring Hayley Stewart. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Titty bar.
Oh no, we're back on that.
Oh, I'm just doing the voice. I don't know if, I guess announcers don't just say titty bar.
Just say, you're in a strip club.
Yeah. Here's a little reminder, you fucking pervs. Tip your waitress. Titty bar. All right, anyways, we're back. How's it going? Sorry.
It's good. Yeah, I feel like that song, if you listen to the lyrics, shows how much of like a tinfoil hat binge I've been on recently with reading about space and UFOs and ooh.
My wife's been watching the T&E network, which is Escape and Travel. Anyway, they play nonstop like fucking ghost hunter shows and UFOs.
Okay.
And those shows are terrible. My favorite thing, and this is my new favorite thing, is how they will have no evidence or no proof of anything, then make a grand sort of supposition, and then start asking a whole bunch of questions as if the supposition is true. So they'll be like, although no one's been able to photograph the giant lizard man, or no one's ever really seen it, what if he is real? And if he is, how old is it? How long has the lizard man been here? And what does it want with us? Where does it come from? And they start asking all these questions, and at the root of it is, well, but you're just making this up. Like, I literally did a show with Betamaxx, which is going to be the one that was before this one. So last week, I was talking about this show because I couldn't stop laughing, where they just kept coming up with different theories for like this. There was like these, it was in the States somewhere, and it was like some caverns, or, you know, this big open area. And every commercial break, they had a different theory. So at first it was like Native American shamans who are absorbed by black magic and become skinwalkers. And so that was that. And then after the commercial break, they said it was because of quartz in the mountain causing a rift in space-time. And then after the next commercial break, it was because there's a rift there's a portal to another dimension. And this is where like dimensions are merging. And then Indian burial ground, because that's standard. I mean, I said this all to Betamaxx, but it's like you take a collage. If you collaged all of these shows together, every time they mention native burial ground or Indian burial ground, it'd be like this fucking 10-hour long collage, because they always blame it on Indian burial grounds, like every time. It's amazing. It is amazing.
The spirits and the sacred energy and I mean, you could make a show just speculating like what could be happening with your wall right now, and you could be like, well, let's suppose that is a tiny man peeing through a hole in the wall.
What does he want with us? The other day I was watching the one on the Mothman, and like, of course there's nothing, right? There's no evidence at all, but then they'll like fucking stretch that out for like hours. It's like, was it the Mothman that they saw that day, and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, they were probably high.
It's that stuff that does have evidence that is the coolest though to suppose about. Like I've been listening to the last podcast on the left every time I go to work, and they will totally like chew out all those weird stories and theories, and half the time they're like, yep, and that was all bullshit. But it's definitely fun. It's a fun listen. It
just depends where your brain goes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is unexplainable, and different people take that and do what they will with it. So there's a lot of stuff that's like, this is unexplained and therefore it equals aliens, whereas other people might, well, this is unexplained, therefore it equals something that will be explained later somehow, or ghosts. It's like the same with those people who have that sleep paralysis, you know, and it's sort of like what you believe is kind of what you will, because everyone always seems to have like feel like some malevolent presence in the room, or like or pressure on their chests or something when they can't wake up. They wake up but they can't move their bodies. And so people who like aliens will say that they had an alien encounter, or people might see demons or whatever, like, but it's sort of like the way your brain processes like the fucking shit that it can't comprehend. That's a big problem, like a big thing that they look into. Like, I was listening to an episode of Ideas on CBC talking about near-death experiences and how everybody, like, how do we gather information on it, because a lot of people have been coming forward and saying that they've had very similar experiences, and basically they're saying like, we don't know what to believe based off of, you know, while your body is shutting down, how can we take
that information and like understand what's happening when your brain should technically be off. I don't know.
Even the crazy psychedelic drugs like DMT and shit, where like people will say they see kind of the same thing, like they go to some other realm that has, like when other people go to that realm, they seem to have a similar experience, or they have these interactions with weird little pixie creatures and craziness and stuff. Who hosts Ideas now?
Well, it's been Paul Kennedy, but I feel like there's been other folks like popping in from time to time.
When I was younger, because I probably got like 10 years on you, right? This is a super local reference for people in Ontario, but or Canada, I guess, but when I was a kid, my dad always had CBC on all the time, and Ideas was hosted by a guy called Lister Sinclair. Every show he'd sign off exactly the same way, and so I always had it memorized because it was like, Ideas is produced by Bernie Lucht, and I'm Lister Sinclair. And like every night it would always be, and I just have that burned in my brain, just this fucking, I didn't even know his name was Lister until like last year because it popped in my head again. I always thought he was saying, I'm Mr. Sinclair. And then the executive producer of Ideas was a guy called Bernie Lucht or something. And I always just like, what kind of weirdo name is that? And
just fun words.
Anyway, that's my story about Ideas, but that's one of my strongest memories as a kid. 9 p.m. when they would sign off from the Ideas program, and just that British dude. And I don't recall a single episode of the show, just the sign off.
Yeah.
At the end. The same with like watching TVO. But then this is like, I don't know what the experience that you would have, because you're 10 years different, right? So like,
I mean, I remember my grandmother watching like showcase shows, and I was always so worried / titillated by that little square that has like the drag makeup happening, or like the people like fooling around in a bed, and I'm like, what is there gonna be porn on next? Like, what is happening? But literally, like when I'm done watching Sailor Moon, she'd just be watching like Downton Abbey or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, tying it all up there.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, we can probably slowly fucking wind this thing down. Is there a track that you really like or that you're proud of or whatever that I should play?
That I've released?
That an awkward question?
I don't know. I like it's really hard to feel like super proud of something, because I feel like by the time something comes out, I feel like I've worked on it to death, and there's so many things that I would want to change. It's like, oh man, that's a hard question. Like, I haven't really been prepared for it. But at the same time, I'm like more interested in like stuff I've been working on more recently, but I don't know.
I just enjoy seeing you squirm about this question.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now, I Don't Know, featuring Hayley Stewart.
I could send you a new song if you want.
Okay, I'll throw it in.
Okay.
Is this as what? As you?
Yeah, this is as Mecha Mako. So I've been slowly putting together a bunch of songs for a new album, and
should we have been talking about this the whole time?
Sure. We can talk about it now. Basically, I've just been doing it super slow. Like, some of the songs I've been working on for like in the background very, very slowly for like while Dead Astronauts was still a thing. So you'll get to hear like some things that were kind of like scrapped, or like Jared will probably recognize some of them because they were like either too poppy for the sound, or I just got too precious with them and was like, no, actually I think I'm just gonna have that.
Yeah.
And same with like Arcade High. I think there's 2 songs that I recorded a lot of different vocal ideas for them for Phone Lines, and like a couple other songs that never ended up getting used, but I was like, oh, I actually really think that I could make a cool like track using these.
Well, that's interesting then. So there were some that you recorded vocals for a different song. Was it like the lyrics that you liked, or you actually liked the melody and then built another song around those same vocals?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was probably like the melody and the performance. Yeah, and then I built a song that obviously sounds completely different around it.
Right.
Yeah, there's just something that I felt was worth keeping. And so some of it's more chopped up than others, but yeah, it's sort of like a combination of things I wanted to try instrumentally and then vocally. And then, yeah, I have this problem where the second I start working on something that is like too sugary and poppy, I kind of like chop it up a whole bunch. So I think Bike Night was sort of made that way, where I just totally like toned it down. And then there's a couple other songs that will be on the album that are like a lot more experimental, and I'm kind of like debating releasing its like earlier form as well so people can see where it came from. But
What song are we going to play right now?
You know what? I don't even think it has a final title, but we can go with Mad But Soft.
Mad But Soft. All right. And then we'll see. I'll add an addendum when this episode, because this episode might air like in 2 months. So if you
maybe it'll be out. Well, maybe not, but it's being mastered. Parts of it are being mastered.
Okay, well, this song right now is tentatively called Mad But Soft by Hayley Stewart, by, what do you say, Mako?
It's Mecha Mako.
Mecha Mako. And you can explain what that means in a second. So let's listen to this track. This is Mecha Mako. Hard But Soft?
Mad But Soft.
Mad But Soft. Ooh, where's my brain going? Mad But Soft. Freudian slip. All right, Mad But Soft by Mecha Mako.
Drink me
And that was Mecha Mako with Mad But Soft. And Mecha Mako is, of course, Hayley Stewart, who's sitting right here. I'll cut out that Freudian slip bit, or maybe I'll keep it in and make people laugh.
Yeah, hard but soft.
Yeah.
Oh, see, maybe that shouldn't be the name.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
What? Oh, yeah.
Hard but
No,
soft.
it doesn't.
No. Anyway, what's Mecha Mako?
That is the name of my solo music thing. I just was thinking about my influences and sort of the idea that I wanted to portray with it. So taking your classic 80s Japanese anime weeaboo references of like mechs, mecha, and then combining it with, so you get your tough battling sort of piece, and then Makos, which are actually they're like pre-geishas, so they're dressed a lot more colorful, but again, they're in training to become these like perfect, elegant, entertaining ladies.
There's like a robot one of those?
Yeah, basically, kind of combining the elegance and violence and like, I don't know if that will come through in the music, but it sounds cool.
Do you speak any Japanese?
No, I only have like a few words that like every anime watcher will know, but
What are those? I have none.
if you ever want to say like thank you, it's okay. So Jake is probably going to listen to this and he's going to be like, this bitch.
Oh yeah, never mind, because I talked to Jake about it. We got konnichiwa.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got. Oh, you think I was going to say something else? Origato. That's right. No, sorry. I don't know anything. Every time Jake would say something to me, I would follow it with origato.
Yeah, it's close.
And that's what I'm going to do to you.
You could say arigato, or if you wanted to like conjugate it in a way, or say like thank you very much, that's arigato gozaimasu. Or if you want to say like thank you for like something you did, so it could be like arigato gozaimashita, or
Origato.
that's good.
That's all I got.
That's good.
That's all I will ever
I don't
have.
know if there's anything useful I could say. No, everything else is just going to be inappropriate. Don't trust anybody who calls you Oni-chan.
Why was that? It's like dink?
No, it means like older brother, but it's kind of like not super well translatable into. I don't know.
I love all that stuff. I love what I mean. The English language has so many words, but I always love when every time I have people on who speak a different language, I always ask them their swear words. And I love how poetic some of them are when they get translated back into English.
Oh, yeah.
Because ours are just so standard, like just like a bad word, and here's a combination of a bad word, and then I'll talk to TIMECOPs. I think was my favorite. Was it TIMECOP or was it Dynatron? It was Dynatron. Oh, what the fuck was the goddamn thing? It translated to like "Let the cancer eat me" or something. Like,
oh my god!
And I'm trying to remember what the context was for. It's like
oh my god!
It's like a thing you yell like when you're like upset, and it's just like that's like the translation. It was like so fucking funny. I was just like, that is amazing, because everything I say, there's nothing clever about it. It's just like fuck.
Yeah, here's the generic word.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then when you use them too much, and then this is still something I'm trying to figure out whether I got to stop, because I swear a lot, and I've been trying to tone it down. But then you swear too much, and then the standard words don't always satisfy.
Yeah.
And so now if I'm like stubbing my toe, I'm going to the old C word, and that one is
that's like 0 to 100 real quick.
If you ever stubbed your toe?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. But
it's not fun. The F word does nothing for me now. If I fucking stub my toe, like, look, I just said it like that. It's just like,
yes.
fuck. It's just there, and it's almost flowery. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's weird because when you talk to British people, right? I mean, like that's their. They just throw that around like nothing.
Yep. C-bombs.
But it has to be said with an accent. That's the key. So what's the deal with Mecha Mako then? So that's the new thing.
Yeah,
You're
that's the new thing.
That's
if you ever are interested in following where this half of Dead Astronauts has wandered to, you'll probably hear like there is definitely going to be some major similarities, and you'll probably get to see like where my influence came in there. So yeah, it's basically going to be a big fat Haley show with all my vocals, although I was working Dana Jean Phoenix is doing some vocals on a song.
Never heard of her.
I know. Who the hell? Yeah, that was one person where what we were talking about earlier, where the most different thing when you meet somebody in real life is the height.
Oh, she's tiny.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I am tall. But
yeah, no, yeah, I mean, it's weird though, because it's funny how we judge those sorts of things, because for a woman to be considered tall is like average like male height. You know, like the idea like when a woman is like anything other than like, you know, like higher than 5'9" or something, then yeah, because most I think the average height for women is like it's like 5'5", I think, or something, or 5'6".
Like that.
So it's funny how that works out. But yeah, Dana's tiny. I had Nina here, and Nina is also tiny as well.
Oh.
But she's got a big voice. You know, they got these big voices.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I'm like massive and then like small voice. That's why I got Dana to do songs. I had one and I was like, actually, my voice does not suit this at all. And I need somebody with like...
Mad but soft.
More like buttery.
But soft.
Yeah.
Let's derive some meaning from this song title.
Well, that is, I mean, a direct lyric from it. It gets like a little bit semi-autobiographical in terms of my feelings on certain things. Wow. I'm just not prepared to talk about this. I don't know. Like, I'm sure if we listened to the song and I like had the lyrics, you'd probably be able to like pick some more pieces out of it. But yeah, that is.
I like asking you questions that you.
Then I just like flail around.
Well, I love to
look
like.
Around the
this
room.
is the thing. People, you know, they always make fun of me when I do this show because I oftentimes don't talk about music that much. Like it always goes to like movies and video games and stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to talk about.
And you see how easier it is of forthcoming to talk about Skyrim. I mean, like we could do a whole Skyrim show.
Well, I mean, there's this issue where I don't want to sound pretentious about the things that I'm working on, but then it's like it already is pretentious to a certain point. If I've already written it, sung it, and like put it out. So with that song, it's basically just a reaction to the way I feel in this world. It's almost like a little fantasy if the world was, and like kind of just anticipating like something big that will happen to kind of like really change things and kind of undo a lot of things that have been going on forever. So Mad But Soft, I also think has kind of a very like feminine touch to it, where traditionally, like I don't consider myself like an extreme like women's rights activist or like feminist. I think that a lot of people are feminist, but the concept of feminism and how it's being pushed in the media is like really scary for some people to jump on board with. But I think like when you're a girl, you're expected to be like very feminine and passive. So I mean, that song does talk about being passive, but kind of like reaching that like tipping point or like boiling over, and you'll get some of those like angsty young girl vibes in it and in the whole album, and it'll be really hilarious to hear me sing about various things.
The key is we all got to work together. That's my stance on because I don't know necessarily that I'm like a feminist, but it's more just that I think everyone can do what they want to do.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know what that because I don't know, because there seems to be there's like a kind of like a militant wing of feminism,
that's the part that's
a little
scary.
Troubling, especially when you're a dude.
Well, I think that's exactly
I'm a dude,
it.
by the way.
Yes.
So that's why I said that.
Just in case. Just in case you didn't know. No, that's the thing is we have to, celebrate each other's differences and not always make it a fighting point. And
I just gave you a silent nod like an asshole. What the fuck was that? And people aren't going to be able to see that. I literally gave you a nod like this.
Yes,
right?
it was like a mad respect nod. Don't worry.
I agree. Well, listen, we're going to listen to another track. I was going to play another Perturbator song, and we could probably wind this down. We've been talking for a while. You got to get home and make dinner.
Yeah, like a fucking woman.
Yeah, man.
Apparently.
Get in that fucking kitchen. You got a stick of butter and some fucking noodles.
Oh, it's going to be so good, though.
Well, you can tell me all about it after we listen to this track, and then we can wind down. This was a track which is actually technically featuring Dead Astronauts, but by Perturbator. And it's the track Minuit by Perturbator. And I said it that way. And that was Perturbator with the track Minuit, featuring Dead Astronauts. And I'm here right now with Hayley Stewart, half of that, although doing her own thing now with
Mecha
Mako. I wanted to say Mega, and I'm like, it's not Mega, it's not Mega, it's not Mega.
No, it's, yeah.
So, what's for dinner?
Tonight we
Woman,
have a...
what's for dinner?
No, don't push me. I'm mad. I may be soft, but I'm mad. We have a cauliflower ravioli with brown butter and sage sauce.
I'm going to have reheated pizza because Domino's had a sale.
Oh, yum. Yeah, I mean, I live right beside King Slice, so that doesn't even have time to become leftovers. That's just all in one sitting.
Yeah. King Slice. Sorry,
super fucking good. Give us a sponsorship.
So, as we're winding down, is there anything I didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm interested in the things you feel like are worthwhile to prod me on, but I don't know. We got like video games and then like strip clubs.
I tell you what, maybe we'll have you back sometime. We'll do like a whole Skyrim show. It's always fun chatting about Skyrim.
Oh my god, and you'll get to see how much of a spaz I am when I play video games.
But yeah, man. Well, that's it's cool. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, same.
And keep on making cool stuff. You got a good voice.
Thanks.
Sorry, I'm bad at the sincere part. I'm good at the goofy part, and then when it comes to like the part where it's just like, why am I talking to you? It's
you're like, you put mouth sounds on the beeps and boops.
Yeah. I like them beeps and boops. You got a long line of fun collaborations, and we just listen to a lot of them and keep on trucking.
Thank you. I shall keep on trucking. I will truck very hard.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, we did it, man.
We did. It was good. Thanks for
inviting you into this fucking dungeon.
Yeah,
room?
Into your dungeon, and yeah, it's nice.
I apologize. Anyways, you have a lovely day.
Thank you.
And we'll have you back sometime, and maybe when this mega fuck me. Nope, we're done. Mecha Mako. There, I said it. Did I?
Yeah.
All right. And that was Hayley Stewart. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Tune in next time. One more episode in the summer series. I guess that doesn't make so much sense because technically summer's not over yet. Basically what I meant was I recorded 8 episodes and that'll be the end of the new guests of summer. So I was trying to have a new guest every week. I did have Betamaxx on last week. Not technically a new guest, but we hadn't talked in like 3 years. Hayley Stewart, obviously a new guest, and next week another new guest, and then who knows? Then I'll have to do the summer-fall series. No, the spring. No, I don't remember how seasons work. Thanks for listening to the show. Tune in next time when my guest will be somebody else. And you can find me on Twitter at AndyLast. Check out Beyond Synth on Facebook, facebook.com/beyond.synth.podcast. If you want to support the Patreon, it's patreon.com/BeyondSynth. If you want to check out the SoundCloud, it is soundcloud.com/Beyond-Synth, is it? A lot of this stuff you can find just by typing Beyond Synth into Google. There's also a YouTube, a Beyond Synth YouTube, where I post the videos, where once we get the Beyond Synth video show off the ground, that's where that will be going. And what else? It's all good. It's all good. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thank you for listening, and tune in next time to Beyond Synth, the best synthwave chat show there is.
And the last, coming up fast, breaking all the rules with his podcast on Power